Phoenix to Hawaii, Hawaii to Phoenix, Phoenix to Brownsville, Texas, Brownsville to Minneapolis, Minneapolis to Phoenix, Phoenix to Iowa, Iowa to Miami, Miami to Phoenix, and then Phoenix to Dallas, and then Dallas back to Phoenix. I am in the middle of this crazy ass 2-week trip, and I am feeling very burnt out. And that's what I want to talk about on this trip, burnout.
About to leave, already packing, come with me, I'm not really asking, we'll get away to a place where we don't know.
The World Health Organization used to classify burnout as a state of vital exhaustion. Now it's classified as a syndrome conceptualized as resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. Tell me about it. Everyone deals with burnout, but this is the earliest I've ever had to deal with it. 5 days to Christmas when I realized that I have to get everyone Christmas presents, and so I go to the mall and spend 18 hours at the mall trying to find gifts for everyone. That's usually when burnout hits me and I'm like, I'm done, I can't do anymore, I'm taking a break. This year, I'm feeling the same way I feel at the end of December. I'm feeling that right now. And this has nothing to do with anti-hustle or anti-working hard. If I'm not a hustler, I don't know what I am. But you can't operate at the level I need to operate at and be burnt out at the same time for any prolonged period of time. So I want to talk about burnout. What are the signs for burnout? What are the things that you can do to prevent burnout? All right, packing up, let's get on the road.
Welcome to Omaha.
Me imagino tus labios.
Buddy, you got the best driver in town.
Oh yeah?
Well, not this town, but anyway.
Distancia no se acaba.
Passive?
Quería si tus manos volvieran otra vez.
Oh, that's nice. I think the conference is over here. Let somebody know I'm here. Are you guys having a silent auction?
Come on in.
I saw the Star Wars poster. See if I get permission to bid on it. That's pretty cool though. I want that Star Wars poster. I have permission.
No way!
Let's do this.
Can I take your picture?
Why is this in Nebraska? I don't understand. Did somebody steal this from Warren Buffett's house? I have to have that Star Wars poster. Anyone can get burnout. This has nothing to do with only certain kind of people, weak people, people who don't hustle, people who don't work hard, people who don't want to work. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with whether you like your job or not. Burnout is worse if you hate your job. So if you're burnt out and you hate your jobs and you're hating every minute of it, I am sure burnout is worse for you. It also happens to people who love their jobs. As a matter of fact, you can argue that it might happen more to people who love their jobs because they're so into their job. And I think that's kind of what happens to me. So let's talk about some of the signs of burnout. The first one is going to be exhaustion. When you are just beat tired for no reason at all. Even though I've been traveling like a crazy person the last couple weeks, I'm still getting plenty of sleep and I'm waking up exhausted. Second thing is you might be dealing with some physical ailments. Yesterday, I couldn't hear anything out of the right side of my head. So these are the signs you gotta look for. You're exhausted, you got some physical things that are going on. The next thing is that you just get overwhelmed real easily over little stupid things. Another sign is isolation. The only place you're comfortable is when you're alone. You don't want to talk to anyone, you don't want to see anyone. Somebody wants to go out and grab a drink or have dinner, you avoid it. And then finally, when you're irritable. And when I mentioned that to Jennifer, she's like, isn't that just your normal state? Yes, my normal state is to be irritable. Iterable? I'm just annoyed on a constant basis by lots of different things. But I started noticing that I was irritated with little things that I didn't need to be irritated about, and with people I don't normally get irritated with. Those are the things you should look for. If you're dealing with these signs, then there's a good chance that you might be experiencing some burnout. And now I'm irritated that it's raining. You're starting to notice that your work is being impacted because you're burnt out. You're just not excited about the work that you're doing, or you're not looking forward to the work that you do. And by work, I don't mean for me just travel or just speaking. I'm talking about all the projects I'm working on, all the boards that I'm sitting on, all the kind of tasks that I have to do, the video editing and making that I'm doing. I'm in the middle of writing some articles for some publications, all of it. You're just not excited about it. You're just like, ugh, I can't believe I have to do this, when most of the time you're really excited about that work. And again, it's really important to understand that this is not about hating your work or not liking your work. It's just this overwhelming feeling that it just doesn't seem like it's gonna stop. Headed down to speak at this event. Really, I'm going to check out if anybody outbid me on the Star Wars poster. All right, what do we got?
Over here. You're still top there.
I'm still top?
Still top.
I'll come check in again. Okay, I need all of you to sign a release.
Man, I'll do that all day just at his age.
I can't wait till I'm over 40 so I can be fast again when I play with the over 40 guys. And then you turn 40 and you realize that the people who are playing basketball when they're over 40, they're all ex-NBA and ex-NCAA players.
Ain't that true?
All right, so the event here in Omaha went really well. Now I'm headed to Miami, and during my Q&A, we talked about burnout. How do you know what stage in a burnout you are in? Burnout starts with a passion that you have for work, and because it's work that you want to do, you keep doing more of it. So you end up not saying no, which is one of the things that you have to do, is be able to say no. But you keep adding to it, you keep saying yes. And because you have all these things on your plate, you start subtracting things that are non-work related. You get rid of the things that are important, like exercise, sleep, eating well. You replace sleep with work. So you only sleep 4 hours a night instead of the 7 or 8 that you need. You stop exercising because that could be an hour and a half of workout time during the day that you can just add to work. And then you start cutting corners on eating. You eat at your desk, or you eat a protein bar, or you just snack on something as opposed to sitting down and eating a meal. From there, it moves into personal non-work things. You cut back on family time. You start spending less time with your kids. You say no to your friends who want to go out and have a drink. All that leads to behavioral changes where you start becoming more irritable, like when people are talking when you're trying to record a video. And then the conclusion, the end, is either a mental or physical breakdown or a combination of both. Speaking of burnout, I gotta go get on a plane to get to Miami. Arnold Clark really owns this airport when it comes to advertising. Thank you. Flight from Omaha to Chicago was delayed and was gonna make me miss my connection. Actually, I'm going through Charlotte, and now I am here in Miami 6 hours later than I was supposed to be. I'm here for a couple hours. I just gotta go to bed. All right, so I made it to Miami after a long day of travel, and I am now headed to the university to speak. Dear Jamie, often began conversations about framing the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, to what problem you want to solve. Thanks for helping us reframe how we talk about learning and working, and thank you for encouraging lifelong learners. Isn't that cool? Those are the things that make me feel less burned out, or maybe add to the burnout because I feel like I gotta keep going. It's midnight in Phoenix and I made it home. So I'm here for a day and then I head off to Dallas. So I'm in Phoenix for a couple hours so I could, take a shower, repack my bag, and then head back to Dallas where I'm going tomorrow morning, and then I come back again. I'm in the middle of my 2-week crazy ass 20,000 mile trip. And I want to talk about the things that you can do to prevent burnout. And you know what the things are. There's nothing on this list that's going to be surprising to you. One of the most important things that you can do is to get good exercise. Get out there, move your body, and if you can't get to the gym, at the very least go outside and get some air, but just go do something different. The second thing is eating right. Because you're in a rush, because you're on the move, because you're spending these crazy hours working, you end up grabbing whatever food you can, or you rely on comfort food like McDonald's or Taco Bell. I don't know why Taco Bell would be comfort food. You rely on food that you can get quickly so that you can move on with your work. Don't do that. And then the last thing you need to do, and again, nothing on this list is surprising, is get some sleep. I'm talking about real sleep, like big chunks of sleep, not I'm gonna sleep on a plane for 20 minutes. I'm gonna sleep on the couch for 20 minutes. No, big REM chunks of sleep. And it's not always easy. You can focus on getting some exercise, eating well, getting some good balance in your meals, and then obviously getting sleep. If you can do those things, that'll help counterbalance any high stress environment that you find yourself in. Speaking of high stress, I gotta go pack up so I can head to Dallas tomorrow. Oh, also, if you're gonna ride your boosted board, make sure you wear a helmet. It's your brain. If you break this thing, then what's the point?
Eres perfecta mujer, de la cabeza a los pies. Tú pasas de mi nivel, tú tienes el piquete. De la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un orica.
I just need a photo ID and a form of
I left my wallet in a car.
Eres perfecta
That was such a rookie mistake.
de la cabeza a los pies.
Made it to Dallas on my way to grab some food. But let's talk about what to do if you're actually dealing with burnout. And the first place to start is to look at that list, those 3 things. The sleeping, the eating well, and the exercising, and figure out how you could just start doing those things. You don't have to wait till Monday, until the project's over, until the end of the month. Just start. I'm gonna try to eat something healthy, wherever the hell I am.
Los grises, yo nunca te fallé. Cualquiera, tú
All right, finished my event here in Dallas at the Capital One complex. They have a very nice complex there. And now I am headed back to Phoenix. And the last of my 20,000 mile
Half a
2-week
mile.
trip.
Keep left to stay on Texas 121 South.
And there's 2 more things you need to
2
think about.
miles. Take the exit toward Texas 114 East.
cita, dime pa' dónde vas, que yo te caigo donde tú pasas de mí.
Okay, so I made it back to Phoenix and I'm excited because I have 3 nights at home. But to close out this video on burnout, talked about eating, sleeping, and exercising and trying to do as much as that as you can, starting whenever you can start. The other thing that you can do right now is start saying no. You're going through a burnout because you got a lot on your plate. And you probably have a lot on your plate if you're anything like me, because it's hard for you to say no. You have your purpose and your mission and a problem that you're trying to solve, and it feels like you can justify anything that you put on your plate to fit into one of those categories. So you take on all this work and it just piles on and you can't say no. You need to start saying no. And then the last thing you need to think about is that you can take a break, you can take time off, and that definitely relieves some of the stress. It takes some of the burden off. But you also need to understand that it's gonna come back, that it's just a matter of time before you have to go through it again. So what you really need to do is think about everything that's on your plate and then consider what doesn't belong. In order to do that, you have to think about the thing you're passionate about, the problem that you're trying to solve, and then ask yourself, well, out of these things, what's a big chunk of time that isn't exercise, eating, or sleeping that I don't really need in my life? And for me, I have been slowly coming to the realization of what that big chunk is for me. For me to focus on the things that I'm really passionate about around education and sustainable development for disadvantaged communities, I need to take a big thing off my plate. And I think I identified mine. Like, subscribe, share, and I will see you guys in the next video.